Using tracking points on the actor's body, a wire frame can be mapped, giving the actor a computer-generated suit. From now on, the possibilities were unlimited. In 1982, Walt Disney Studios were equally ambitious when they dared to make the world's first feature film combining live action and computer-generated images. The film cost a whopping $17 million, with $4 million spent on CGI alone. 6 animators worked 9 months using only one computer to create 100 spectacular shots. Despite all the whiz-bang computer effects, Tron was a box office disaster. The main criticism was that CGI had no soul and that computers were unable to create characters with whom audiences could have emotional involvement.
I think it was really courageous of Disney to be the pioneers. The problem was the story was really weak.
You know, this is a balance, you know, between great storytelling and great technology. And if you don't do both of them in equal parts, you know, you're just not going to succeed to that level. And Tron is an example of one, I think, that succeeded on the technology side, but not on the storytelling side.
Disney Studios returned to traditional 2D animation, but the team behind Tron went on to become the new generation of computer animators.
I mean, what impresses me so much is that almost every major studio that exists today, who known to, you know, the widest possible audiences, have someone as part of the crew who worked on Tron. I mean, it was the ultimate kind of gene pool, if you like.
These aspiring computer animators were quickly snapped up by other Hollywood studios. All they needed now was the right software tools. In Toronto, Canadian programmers had been working on an animation software that could produce the most realistic digital effects possible. It was called Alias. This software unlocked the enormous potential of computer-generated images and was used in the blockbuster Terminator 2.
Hey Gwen, you want some coffee?
No thanks. How about a beer?
Yeah, right.
The mind-boggling CGI sequences in Terminator won it an Oscar for visual effects in 1992. From now on, CGI would be used to make the impossible possible. 2 years later, Alias was used in Jurassic Park, this time to terrify audiences by bringing dinosaurs back to life. It too won an Oscar for its visual effects. Since the 1990s, CGI effects have become the mainstay of Hollywood action movies. Alias joined forces with Californian-based Wavefront to develop their new software, Maya.
Maya is an animation program. It's what you load onto a computer, and if you load it properly, then it comes up as this package, this interface that allows you to model and animate and render 3D computer graphic scenes.
Hi, Bingo. Excuse me?
To put Maya through its paces, Chris Landreth made his short film Bingo in 1998.
Bingo? Bingo. Bingo the Clown.
By doing a film like Bingo, I was able to put the software through the most horrific testing that could have been done. And I mean, the programmers will tell you how much hell I put them through because I was finding and complaining all the time.
It took 300 animators 4 years to create well over 1,000 computer-generated shots. Their hard work paid off because Shrek broke new grounds.
You know, anytime you set out to do something that is so completely different from anything you've done before or others have done before, it's always scary, and there's a huge risk involved in that. And, you know, failure in these movies is harder, painful, costly, way more so than live-action movies. If for no other reason, we take 4 years to make them.
Shrek featured the first realistic computer-generated humans, who not only had to speak dialogues, but express complex emotions. 500 controls were used to animate Shrek's face alone.
It will be seen as a turning point, or at least a milestone in the development of computer animation, because the characters really engage with the audience. And I think Shrek was the first character from a computer-generated film that you forget the technique and you just want to know more about their story.
The characters of the film also had to wear clothes which moved, wrinkled, and reacted to light. The team also developed new techniques to simulate fluids. And Shrek was the first computer-animated film that featured action sequences with computer-generated fire. A process called rendering. This is when the computer calculates all the elements together, such as light, textures, and movement, to create the final image. It is only at this stage that the filmmaker sees whether a sequence works or not. And occasionally, it can go horribly wrong.
Animation is something that is a pure imagination because nothing exists. No seats, no theater, no people, no ambience. And I love that about it. It's probably, in filmmaking, maybe the purest form of creation.
The more complex the shot, the longer it takes to render. An 86-minute film like Shrek took 100 million hours to render, with 500 computer servers working around the clock. Independent filmmakers like Ben can't afford this hardware, but they can now access this computing power by sending their files to a remote render service via the internet. This is revolutionizing computer animation.
What I think will happen in the next few years is that the outright cost of producing computer-animated films is going to go down. And when that happens, you start to get really cool, independent, often bizarre, often completely out of from left field visions of animated stuff.
It's not just films that have benefited from the evolution of computer animation, but also the games industry. From humble beginnings, video games didn't look like setting the world alight. But with the rise of personal computers and games consoles, the big names like Atari, Sega, and Nintendo battled it out to produce ever more realistic and exciting games.
Piece of cake.
What the hell happened?
Never mind, Yankee. I'm going in.
The result has seen games become a multi-billion-dollar business, almost bigger than the film industry. Today's gamers are demanding ever more photoreal experiences, which is pushing the development in recreating lifelike humans. With the rapid advances in animation software, it will soon be impossible to distinguish between real and virtual humans. This year's Oscar-winning short film Ryan by Chris Landreth has taken photorealism one step further and turned science into art.
There's nothing I enjoy more than a good glass of cold beer. Am I supposed to give that up for, like, tea or something? No, can't do that.
I personally want to see you around, and I personally want to see you thrive, Ryan.
Fry?
Not fried. I want to see you thrive. It was actually quite surprising that a film like Ryan seemed to be getting enough attention, enough positive attention anyway, to be given that.
Computer animation has become the true art of the 21st century. And who knows what amazing images we'll be seeing next. One thing is for sure, be prepared to be amazed.